And I said, Dad, I don't have a lot of time. I'm in a gunfight and I need to talk to Shay. And he said, okay. And, next thing I know, Shay's on the phone and she says, hello. And I said, hey, I don't have a lot of time, but I just want to let you know that I'm uh, currently in a gunfight and I'm doing my best. And I want you to know that I love you. And I want you to know that I don't regret a thing.
I need you to help me because I just want to be faithful. Faithful.
Can you see me on there? There it is.
There you are. What's up, buddy?
Dude, the beard though.
Oh yeah, I just got it trimmed too, man. It was bushy.
Yeah, so where do you go? Because that's edged up. Like that looks good.
So it's over here in Greenville, man. It's Lopez Barbershop.
Lopez Barbershop. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Man, that's pretty cool.
Pays to be bilingual.
You're not bilingual at all.
Me?
Yeah.
Come on now.
Are you serious?
You bet.
No, I had no idea.
I used it today, man.
No way. So you get, is there like a stipend pay for that?
No, I do it out of the kindness of my heart.
Yeah, I hear you on that one. Turn this volume down.
Stipend pay. Where do you think I work at, dog?
Yeah. I would have thought Marshall. Yeah. Well, dude, what's been going on?
Man, a little bit of everything, brother. I'm in the I'm in an SRO spot now.
What is that?
So school resource officer.
Oh man, that's a good gig.
Yeah, be honest, man, I thought it was going to be a lot different.
Yeah.
Getting into it, like better schedule and everything.
Yeah, for sure.
But when all you do is shift work since you're what 21, 20 years old.
Yeah.
And it's hard to get used to. Feels like I'm spending more time with everybody else's kids versus my own.
Right. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But it's a lot. It's nice though, man. It's a good group.
Oh yeah. You still just got your boy?
Oh yeah. Just him, man. He's enough. He's more than enough.
I hear you.
Yeah, we ain't getting too overzealous as far as getting him some siblings go.
Right, for sure. I hear you. Well, I'll have you our baby is due in January. Yeah.
What?
I know. Yeah.
Yeah.
Gonna be a daddy, baby boy. You can give me all
congratulations on that, man.
Appreciate it. You can give me all the tips and tricks, man. Yeah, because I don't know what I'm doing. I got Mark.
I think that's the secret, man, is that nobody really knows what they're doing. It's just
right.
I don't know. It's fun though. Dang, it's fun.
Yeah, I love it. I love to hear it.
Mm-hmm. You bet. So how you want to do this thing, man? Your world, I'm living in it.
Hey, dude, it's simple, man. It's just a conversation. I'm excited to hear your story. Sounds like you've overcome a lot to be in the position you're in, starting from childhood. We can dive straight into it, dude. I'll kind of do a little introduction first. This is my Life After. It's a Christian discipleship podcast, YouTube channel. Kind of just getting it out there of walks of life. And a buddy and I decided to do what we called the Smoke Eaters edition. So it's like a first responder edition that just kind of came naturally. And you reached out to me, dude, and I just jumped all over that because we've known each other for a little while, and then your family kept growing, and you did what you needed to, and now you're a police officer and I'm a fireman. So yeah. Man.
Somewhere down the line, I decided I wasn't. I decided I was scared of heights.
Yeah.
And that I wasn't handsome enough to be a full-time fireman. So
well, one of those is not true. I'll let you pick.
Yeah. You see me on a ladder.
Yeah. Well, Tracer Lynch, welcome to the channel, man.
Thank you, sir.
You're a husband, a father, a police officer. Most important, you're a Christian. That's what is most commendable about you. I pay attention. I follow your life on social media, whether you realize it or not. And man, it seems like you love to put a smile on people's face, but I think there's something a little deeper to you that I'd like to get in today. So
Sure.
Man, if you just want to start kind of from your childhood, I don't know if you've got your testimony pulled up right
Oh
there
yeah,
with you.
yeah. I just reviewed it, man. Just making sure stay on the right track because I'm a side quest guy, so
Yeah, yeah.
I like to talk. Uh, I didn't really grow up in church, but I come from a big family. Like I had three sisters, and I was right smack in the middle.
Okay.
So I was born third. Uh, my parents got pregnant when they were both in school. I
Okay.
don't know. I don't know if my mom. I think she might have been a freshman,
Hmm.
and my dad was junior or sophomore or something.
That's high school, right?
Hmm.
Wow.
Yep. Yep. In high school. Uh, my mom had actually taken, and this is all prior knowledge, like years ago.
Hmm.
Uh, my mom had decided to. She lived in Tulsa. She's from Tulsa, but she was getting into some stuff she probably shouldn't have been getting into. Drugs and stuff. Young age, rough town, and she sat down with her mom and was like, "Hey, I gotta leave, like, or I'm gonna die here, basically." At that young, which was pretty wild to to be that cognizant, when you're that young.
Yeah.
Uh, and she took off and she moved down to Waco with some family and met my dad in high school there, and it's pretty much over with after that. Uh, the old way of doing things, you get married or you get pregnant, you get married, and everybody starts working.
Yeah.
The man goes to work and the woman raises the babies.
Gotcha.
And so, yeah, I was number three in that mix. And then I had another younger sister after that. Uh, I'm from, like, I was born in Waco, but I grew up kind of around between Greenville and Farmersville.
Okay.
Went to high school in Blue Ridge over there. Uh,
Oh, so you're back in your like
and
stomping
man,
grounds.
oh yeah, oh yeah, I'm right out here, man. It took some talking to. It took a while to get back out here. I missed it. That's one of the things, I feel like I had to leave, but as soon as I left, I'm like, man, I shouldn't have left. Like
Yeah.
I was just completely just rudderless,
Mm.
amongst the pines, if you will. But yeah, man, kind of a, and I'm not gonna hurt any feelings when I say this because I talked to my pops about it. You know, coming from a background of low education, low income, naturally there's low expectations. So I'm the first cop in my family. I was the out of my siblings and my parents, I was the first college degree, which is the junior college general studies degree, which kids are graduating high school with now. I call it 2 extra years of high school from you know
Yeah.
just a little joke, but yeah, man, just kind of went out and did it, man. I got a wild opportunity plopped in my lap, and I didn't have any plans, so I just said, "Well, let's see what happens," because I'm not really doing anything productive here besides, you know, struggling to be the person that I was in youth group all the time, and still fighting myself on to be the same person I was Sunday morning as I was Saturday night,
Yeah.
vice versa. Like that
Right.
was that was a big deal for me, man. And it all kind of it eventually came to a head, but we'll get to that.
Yeah, for sure.
But
So what kind of religious background did your family have when you were
none.
younger? None.
So I say none. My great granddaddy was, if you can believe it or not, he was a Mormon. He was a Mormon, and if I'm not mistaken, I think that they like elect their somebody to lead their congregation. Like it
Yeah.
changes every so often,
Hmm.
and he was elected to lead their congregation at one point in time, and then another or so. So uh, it'll happen every now and then. Still, like if we're out in Sherman, Denison area or something, we might run into somebody that, you know, might have knocked on our door a time or two and
Yeah.
tried to spread the good news.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird, but it's funny.
Yeah.
Other than that, man, we didn't really go to church, and just pretty foreign to me.
Yeah. Did you get in a lot of trouble?
Mm, no, man, surprisingly not. Um, I was really, I was really eager to please. Like I wanted everybody to get along and be friends all the time
Yeah.
because it did not happen often.
Mm.
So I just I wanted to make peace, and I wanted everybody to G haul,
Yeah.
So just in the household, at least.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Hmm.
How did that mentality translate like coming up through high school?
Um, Never met a stranger,
Yeah.
um, and I didn't really have a problem making friends.
Hmm.
Because I bet me and you can find something in common, before we're done sitting in this waiting room together. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's kind of how I started looking at life. Was like, this is all temporary.
Yeah.
Like, and like before we leave out of here, if you get called for your appointment first, or I do, metaphorically speaking,
Yeah.
um, golly, why can't we just be friends while we're here?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
Instead
and
of
I,
just having the passive aggressive kind of tension, and
yeah, for sure.
who is this guy? Does he like me? Does he not? Do I have something on my face? Like, I don't know. But going through high school, man, I was like I said, I was I was friends with everybody, like as much as I could be.
Yeah.
Was not a was so much more a lover than I am a fighter, like ever was a fighter.
Hmm.
Like, and just wanted to get along, man. Just loved having a good time.
Yeah. Where do you think that comes from?
Um, well, my dad's kind of a career politician,
Okay.
in that we're both it's a family tradition. Like, we're both running for mayor of everything, and by God, we need your vote. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Mm.
it's just some deep seated need for approval, I
Yeah.
guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. So naturally, I chose to be a cop. So everybody hates me.
Yeah. Yeah. Go the opposite on that one. Mm.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh wow.
But I don't really know, man. I honestly don't. There's some questions I just stopped asking a long time ago and just kind of rolled with it.
Yeah. Yeah. I understand that for sure. So graduate high school, kind of how did early adulthood start out for you?
Man, so I got married, like, really, really early, as far as the grand scheme of things. Like, when I met you, I was engaged.
Okay. See, I didn't know that part.
Yeah, so I was that young, and I was still, you know, I was I really, really, really craved structure,
Okay.
because there was not a lot of it where, where I came from.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I just really, how when we're young, like, did you always want to be a fireman?
No, not at all.
Did you
Not
ever
even.
have dreams, aspirate, like, did you want to play ball, or did you want to be,
Yeah,
I
it
don't know.
was baseball my entire life growing up. Yeah.
Hmm. Like, wanted to be a big MLB star, I guess.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Yeah. I never had a dream like that.
Okay.
Like, I never saw myself doing, like, astronaut, cowboy, whatever,
Yeah.
like, never did. All I wanted to do was be a husband and a dad.
Wow.
Like, that's all I wanted to do. And as far back as I can remember, that's, um, I met Shay, my wife. I met her my first semester in college there at Panola in Carthage. And pretty much from there, man, I just latched on to her, and we fought through it as full-time students together, and sweating out a living between two, three, four jobs at a time, trying to finish school, and
Yeah.
uh, make everything happen. All the while, not going to church or anything like that, or not really getting plugged in anywhere. I was really, really involved in my youth group in like from eighth grade to my senior year of high school. That's when kind of the enlighten the enlightenment started, was on that deal. So uh, when I graduated, I'd never found anywhere to get plugged into, and tried a few churches around Carthage, and it was just, I mean, no disrespect at all, because I was nervous. I was young, new guy on the block, whatever. But I just never, I, I never could really find anywhere to get like plugged in. Like nothing felt like home, because it wasn't home. And that could have been coming internally. You know what I mean?
Yeah. How did you get to Carthage? Like, what got you there?
So, excuse me, whenever I was in high school, I know you may not believe it, but I did play sports.
Okay.
I played baseball and football, like, all growing up.
Okay.
And was always a bigger kid. So naturally, as a freshman, I'm on varsity in the football team.
Mm-hmm.
Just because I'm a bigger kid and we had made playoffs, whatever. But anyway, always been on that side of things. But I've played guitar since I was 13, and I've wrote music and poems and short stories and stuff, and just like, I don't know. And also, I talk to anybody, anytime, anywhere. So gift of gab, I guess.
That's it.
But flowing through that, things were a little rough at the house for a while. My mom had left with my three sisters, kind of early, and it was just me and my dad. So, and he repoed cars at night. So there was several years from probably sixth grade, fifth grade on up, somewhere along those lines, where it really started to get intense in like eighth grade. I would work all night with him, and then like work Dallas and, Duncanville, Oak Cliff, like wherever we were going, all night in the wrecker, going and repoing cars. And then in the morning, he would pull up with whatever car we had repoed in the drop off line, drop me off, and I'd go sleep first through third period. And then, wake up, work the rest of the day, and then get back, in the truck and go work again if he was going to get more cars, because it was just me and dad. So,
Yeah.
So that was something. But things started to get, between me and dad, started to get a little bit rough, and I was kind of sleeping. I was kind of couch surfing for a little while, and a English teacher whose son that I was really good friends with, offered for me to stay with them for a little while, and I thought that was real nice of him. And my junior year, she asked me, she said, "Hey, you don't have to do this if you don't want to, but I am starting a one-act play program at the school here, and I think that you would be really good at it." And I was like, "You're out of your mind. I'm not doing that." And then I kind of started thinking about it, and I was like, this lady's selflessly putting a roof over my head. Like, mind you, I could have gone home several times, like a lot. And I did sometimes. It was just rough, man. It was just rocky. So,
do you care? Would you care to elaborate? Or
yeah, man, sure. So my dad was my dad was in a really bad place, just emotionally.
Okay.
Um, he was kind of not kind of he was in a hole, and he never really reached for a shovel, or never really reached for or a ladder, if you will. Like he never tried to help himself, and kind of just threw his hands up and quit. Bounced around job to job for a little while. Different record services. He started his own company for a while. Um, we ended up living with my grandparents and renting out my childhood home. And my mama and my granddad were like, I've been really vocal about this. Like, if not for them, I don't know what would have happened to me.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was something, man. It was you just never knew what you were walking home. You just never knew what you were coming home to.
Mm.
Kind of like walking on eggshells constantly. Um, didn't know if you were going to get in a fight. Didn't know if he was going to scream at you, or didn't know if you were going to do the wrong thing. That particular day, whatever. Um, didn't know if you were going to be working until 3 a.m. that night. Like just stuff. But man, and that was hard, dude. Like that was hard because like whenever I was a kid, like me and my dad were we were best friends,
Mm.
like together uh all the time. So like coming to terms with the fact that you know he wasn't like the superhero, I guess, that I thought he was in my childhood mind.
Yeah.
um and he was heavy handed. Like he would whip me like when I needed it whenever I was a kid. But those sometimes those whip like later on those whippings turned into beatings, and those those verbal reminders of you need to do the right thing and use your manners, and they quickly turned into just emotional attacks, and just you know
So you kind of transition from uh, an emotional verbal to more of a
Mhm.
aggressive punishment style with your dad.
Mhm.
Yeah. How long
So,
did that go on for?
oh man, it's it was I'd come home from like my first, not my first, but it was my second semester of college. When I'd come home for the summer, um, I was living at my grandparents' house and trying to get a part-time job to support myself while I was home, because I didn't want to stay in Carthage. Um, and it was continuing, like it came to a head again and came to blows, and well, didn't come to blows. It was it was one of those uh, you want to try it again type things,
Yeah.
challenging the authority. And I pretty much told him, pack a lunch because I'm going to eat it, and I'll meet you outside. And it's 1 or 2 in the morning. I'm I'm hammered like a roofing nail, and shouldn't have been. I should have been smarter than what I was being, but I was hurt. I was just hurting.
How old were you?
I was 19.
Oh.
Yeah, my first summer home from college. I was 19.
Mm.
Um, but yeah, that was about the time that I was like, something's got to give. Like I can't do this forever. Um, I, Also at that time, at that particular time, um, I'd lost one of my best friends, who got killed in a car accident. uh, in June of 2015, and I was rolling and dealing with that, and not really handling my emotions very well, and you know,
Yeah.
just I was lost, man,
Would it
real
be
real lost.
would it be safe to say that this stability and structure that you desperately needed could have stemmed from just not having that example at home growing up?
Um, I would say yes, but man, I really got lucky. With my granddad.
Okay.
He was always a really good provider, but on the same, on the opposite side of that coin, whenever he was witnessing some of the stuff that he was witnessing, um, the physical abuse type things, um, he wouldn't say, he wouldn't step in and say anything
Yeah.
on my behalf. Neither would my grandmother. Uh, and Memo, man, we could do a whole series on her. She's the matriarch of our family,
Mm.
and she loves her boys. And my dad is her oldest, and she would she would help him bury a body. And sometimes I was afraid it was going to be mine.
Oh,
Like,
wow.
yeah, I'm talking ride or die. She's 10 toes down.
Yeah.
Like,
The real deal.
you bet, you
Yeah.
bet. But yeah, man, that's kind of at that point I made the decision to go ahead and I packed my truck, which was mine. It was the first truck that I ever owned. It was that '05 F-150,
Oh, yeah.
and it was mine. It was pure stock, all 2-wheel drive, but I didn't care. It was mine,
That's yes,
and
sir.
and it carried me back and forth everywhere, and it actually ended up paying for me to get to the police academy. So
No joke.
yeah, I sold it to be able to pay for the academy. So full
Well,
circle.
tell
Yep.
me, man. Well,
But I'm sorry, man. I got sidetracked. I told you I'm a side quest dude.
that's all right. I'll get you back on track. Don't worry.
Okay, okay. Carthage.
Yeah.
I told my English teacher, uh, Stacy Flanagan is her name, and she asked me if I would be interested, and at first I said no, and then I was like, no, I kind of owe her this one. Like she's done more for me than her family and everything. Like I kind of owe her this, so I did a play with her my junior year,
Mm-hmm.
and then I did a play with her my senior year, and that play my senior year made it all the way from whatever district to regionals, like the step before state, and the regional competition just happened to be at Panola Junior College,
Yeah.
and the director there, Karen King, saw me, and I stepped off the stage, and I was walking back to wipe off all this goofy makeup and get out of this costume and go back to being a man for a little while, or what I thought was a man. And and she kind of grabbed my elbow and she said, "Hey, I'd love to talk to you if you want to go to college because I've got a spot for you in a scholarship." And I was like, "Yeah, right, lady. Like, you're out of your mind."
Mm.
And a few months later, I was packing up and moving to Carthage.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how the dots got connected, huh?
Yes, sir.
Which
Off of
led you
a
to.
theater scholarship.
I never would have thought.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, you're meant for the stage, though, for sure. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're
One way or
definitely.
another.
That's right. Yeah, you're definitely a joy to be around. It was easy how everybody at the fire department gravitated towards you when you were going through your ENT.
Yeah,
Man, it
man.
was.
It was really, really easy to feel at home, like over there. Like because I'd been away from team, like, this is gonna sound real cliche, man, but I'd been away from team sports for so long,
Yeah.
and like didn't think I would ever find anything close to it, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And when I did my first clinical at the firehouse, I was like, This is it. Like, these are the boys.
Yeah.
Like, this is where I'm supposed to be at, you know." And then it just kind of rolled from there.
Right.
Uh, but yeah, between A shift, well, the old A shift,
Mm.
and freaking Justin Stanley, man, Justin Stanley on C shift. That guy, oh man,
What about
I'm
him?
talking thick and thin, dude.
Yeah.
Uh, he's a good dude, man. I love that guy.
I agree. Let's back up a second and
You got it.
how did you and Shay meet? I know it was at college, but what's y'all's story?
So we met actually. She's actually calling me right now. uh,
You answer. Go ahead.
we met at. Sorry about that. I didn't tell her I was doing this, so she's wondering where I'm at,
Yeah.
what I'm doing.
Well, if you go ahead and tell her.
If she calls again, I will. But I just sent her a message. I'll call you later. We met my first semester of college at in history class, and whenever we met, she spilled the biggest Sonic drink that I've ever seen in my life. Sat right next to me, assigned seats, spilt this big Sonic drink, just tipped over. And naturally, I'm a gentleman, so I looked down at her and I went, "Hey," and then just went back to paying attention to the lecture.
Uh-huh.
Um, but then her friends, I say her friends, some other classmates kind of stopped and were scooping and helping clean it up. And then the next class, I saw her. I was like, "Hey, I'm real sorry. Um, the last time that we were in class, you spilt that drink. I didn't help you pick it up." And she said, "Yeah, you just kind of laughed at me." And I was like, "Oh man, she remembers. That must be special."
That's right.
So,
Yeah.
so I walked her to her next class, and after walking her to her next class for a couple weeks, I finally asked her. I was like, "Your boyfriend's not going to be mad. I'm walking you to class, is he?" And she was like, "Well, I don't have a boyfriend." I was like, "Well, imagine that."
I believe that story 100%.
Mhm.
Yeah,
That's it, man.
man. I love it.
Hmm.
How long before y'all met to when y'all were married? What's the time frame there?
Oh, so I proposed whenever she was. I proposed whenever I was graduating college. So the summer of 2016, I believe, I
Yeah.
proposed, and she was starting nursing school, or she was like in the middle of nursing school almost. And we waited until no, she wasn't in the middle because she had just graduated like a year before I did. So we waited the whole time that she was in nursing school, and then right up until like I took my final for my paramedic, and then we got married in her grandmother's backyard at Crossroads, right over there by Crossroads Church and ESD3.
Yeah, man. That's my church.
Mm-hmm.
That's the church
Right
I
over
go
there.
to.
So that big nice brick house that kind of sits up on the hill
Uh-huh.
with the long concrete driveway
Yeah.
that was her grandparents' place.
No joke.
Yeah, family friends. She called them grandparents.
I got you.
They're both dead and gone now. But yeah, we got married in that backyard. JP came out and
Yeah.
came out. There might have been a dozen people at that wedding.
Wow.
It was just a little bitty, man. We're poor, poor, poor.
I can relate.
Mm-hmm.
What is your walk with the Lord look like at this point in your life?
Green,
Yeah.
really green, man. I got really I don't want to say sidetracked, but I got wrapped up in the woes of the job and the woes of, life moving fast, and I'm blinking, I'm 30, you know. So a little while ago, I've for the about the past 4 years, I've worked every Sunday, and there was just no going to church. Like I went in and tried to sit in for a service every now and then, just at different places where I was working at,
Yeah.
whatever district I was in, and nothing really ever seemed to like grab me.
Mhm.
But then I made the decision after going to therapy. I've been going to therapy for a little while now, um, and I made the decision that I'm so unfiltered and honest that I don't intentionally do it, but I bring negativity into my own home. Like I don't leave my job at my job.
Okay.
Um, like if you ask me how my day went, I'm going to tell you.
Yeah.
You know,
Mhm.
um, and it took me a while to figure out that that was not good.
Okay.
So um, that was something that I struggled with, and I decided that I was not bringing enough positivity into my home, and that I needed to get back to good and lead by example. But we don't really have gender roles necessarily in our house,
Okay.
Like we both do dishes, we both do laundry, we do whatever needs to be done pretty much, just because
Yeah.
we always have. Uh, but one thing that we both recognize and that I'm pretty self aware of is that I'm the morale maestro. Like I decide whether we're gonna have a good day or not.
Okay.
So it's a big responsibility.
Does that sound familiar to you?
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
Um, but I would not change it. Just that being said, it's a lot of mistakes and a lot of sleepless nights, but I wouldn't change it, man.
Well, I think I think of what the devil meant for evil, God is using for good. And
Hmm.
man, and I definitely see that in you. A lot of things could have been meant for evil, and I truly feel like the Lord is using you for good in a lot of ways. Now, I mean, you're a cop. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, hey,
I like to think I am.
let's take a quick break, and
You
then
got
when we come back in, I want to, if you don't mind talking about it, let's talk about therapy and what that
sure.
looks like, because that's definitely something you and I both can relate to.
Hmm.
So let's do that, and then yeah, right after the
Absolutely.
break.
You got
Cool.
it.
Let's get back into it, man. Let's start
Uh,
with therapy. What got you into that?
Therapy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was a thing that I was self aware of that I needed. Um, is I needed some kind of an outlet rather than bringing everything home and kind of more or less abusing the open channel of communication. Uh, there was some specific calls and a bunch of unresolved stuff from my childhood that um that I'm still dealing with it. Like nobody's ever totally healed, I don't guess, but it's
Hmm.
part of it. Um, uh, there was just some real dark times, man. That uh, so like I may not have shown it, but I was I was really isolated in East Texas.
Okay.
Um, I'd gone from being like a pure social butterfly, like out all the time, you know, get-togethers, friends, doing something all the time, even if it was youth group, church, playing music, mission trips, stuff like that. Uh, all that just stopped right after I graduated high school,
Yeah.
and then I went into being alone with myself a lot. And I was kind of constant. I was not kind of. I was constantly at war with my mind of just like several things that I had successfully silenced for years that were just resurfacing. And then the more that I got into working in EMS and um, experiencing more traumatic events, I guess. Which to me, man, at the time, Jordy, they didn't seem traumatic and they didn't seem like they held a lot of weight. You know what I mean?
No, absolutely.
Just because, like, I was so used to high stress environment
Okay.
of like everything's at a 10 all the time, like of intensity. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like the next words out of your mouth or the next look on your face, they could dictate whether or not you're fixing to get your teeth knocked down your throat, basically, is a good way of saying it.
Yeah.
And, always trying to defuse some type of problem or situation or like, lighten the mood a little bit, I guess. Um, just being that, I don't want to say calm in the storm, but,
Yeah.
just trying to be some sort of a constant and trying to be some sort of a medium ground for everybody.
Yeah. I feel like that's the definition of being a cop.
Yeah. But the problem with, and I've said this before, and I mean it. I'm confident. Like I'm still a paramedic. Like I still hold my red patch.
Nice.
Um, I am confident in my skills as a paramedic,
Yeah.
and I don't second guess myself. And I'm, you know, like you know what it was like, out there in the trenches. You
Absolutely.
know, when you're in Karnak or when you're in Uncertain or Jefferson or middle of nowhere, and you know, good luck trying to get a hold of med control. You need to make a call, kid.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
that in itself is stressful, but I figured out that you can't talk somebody out of a heart attack.
Yeah.
You can't talk somebody out of a COPD exacerbation.
Mm.
Um, I might be able to talk you out of, this is going to sound crude, but it's the truth. I might be able to talk you out of beating your wife. I might be able to talk you out of, hey man, I know there's drugs in the car. Okay. Or I know that you have warrants, or I know that you're giving me a fake name or something, like I can kind of, you know, I don't want to say verbal judo, but like I can kind of jib and jab a little bit verbally
Yeah.
and get the answers and fix the problems. But when it comes to being a paramedic, man, it's absolute and it's intense, you know?
Mm.
So, so that's something that I had to come to terms with, why doing that full time wasn't really going to suit me because I can't really use my what I feel like is my strongest attribute,
Yeah. I see.
playing it all the time. But
So,
but I started getting really, really, really down on myself and really in a really dark spot. And I decided to try and go see somebody in Longview. And I started going bi-weekly,
okay.
and then I started going once a week. And like I said, at the time, I was not in church and I was not plugged in anywhere and I wasn't reading the Bible and I wasn't even, like, I was so far removed from that. But
Mm.
as fate would have it, the first one that I found that had an open appointment that would accept my insurance was a religious, faith based counselor.
Okay.
Um, and then again, I was like, oh, this kind of makes sense. And then me and that fella did not jive.
Mm.
And it was just like, you know, had to step back from that because I felt like it was being counterproductive. And next thing I know, I'm in the police academy and we're moving here, you know, moving back home, and I started going. I would say probably a year and a half, or not 2 years, not quite 2 years ago. But I've been seeing this fella. I saw him for a long time, once a week, and then stepped off to biweekly, and you know, it's been good, man. It's been really good.
Is it a faith-based counseling or is it
He is not a uh, he is religious. He's a Christian,
okay?
but it's not the focus of the sessions. You know what I mean?
Absolutely, yeah.
He's pretty. He's a good listener. You know, as they all are, and he's not necessarily a fixer. Um,
Hmm.
his questions are more like directions to the truth, if that makes sense.
Yeah, of course it does.
You
Yeah,
know,
yeah,
like it's like, do you think that this, that, or the other? You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like kind of leading you on a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Opening your mind. Yeah.
Absolutely. Just giving you some different perspective on things, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So, uh, but it's been good, man. It's been really good. That's one of the things that's helped me, um, make the decision that I don't have to bring it all home, and I don't have to word vomit whenever you ask me how my day was. You
Right.
know, like I can leave the boots at the door and hang the belt up for a little while, so to speak, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I had to struggle with that. Uh, Bringing the job home. You know what that was
Hmm.
supposed to look like. My counselor was a faith-based counselor, but she only applied it as needed. It wasn't trying to force it
Hmm.
or shove it. So she always kept the door open, just like you're talking about with your counselor. So
Yeah.
yeah, man, that's
I'm real thankful that I'm real thankful that you found that, because it's important.
yeah, that's really important, man. You still see him now?
Oh yeah.
So you
Oh yeah.
started? Did you start seeing him once you got up there and got established as a cop?
So I started seeing him about, I'd say about 2 years in, about two
Okay.
years into to the job.
That was there a core moment that kind of
So I was struggling with, I was having really bad night terrors
okay.
and nightmares, and just waking up in a full fight mode. You know, like I say fight mode. That's, man, I'm Jordy, you know me. I'm soft as they come, dude. Like I'm not a fighter at all. But like the fight or flight, like the heart beats up in your neck, and you can,
Yeah.
you know, you're feeling, you're right there in it.
Yeah.
Um, right after, not right after, but like eventually after, I had an officer involved shooting whenever I first started my job. I was
Mm.
about 3 months out on my own, and
Wow. Well, can
yeah,
we talk
man,
about that?
yeah, absolutely. Um, so 3 months out on my own, was working nights, and I call it the Dirty South, but it's like Quinlan, West Walkeny,
Yeah.
uh, that area. My whole shift at the time was uh, was in training, except for me, and my sergeant was on vacation uh, for deer season.
Mm,
It was, yeah, it was November 10th of 2022.
okay.
So I think it was 22. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, my whole shift was training, and I was working with some guys from different units. Like criminal interdiction had come in to step up, fill the slots in patrol. There was a stand-in sergeant who was a sergeant from the other night shift that agreed to cover. You know, I respond to a call of deadly conduct, which is somebody discharging a weapon in the direction of a house. Um, when in reality, what it was a burglary in progress
Mm,
of a guy who had broke into this house earlier in the day. Day shift had been out there taking a report on it, and they didn't find him, but they found some of his belongings. inside this residence, and they were like, call us if he tries to come back, or call us if you see him. Like, we'll keep an eye out for him. But nobody had known what this guy looked like yet. Like, they didn't know what he was wearing, description, anything. But yeah, whenever I got there, these two gentlemen were, one was the homeowner and the other was the neighbor. And they were on this golf cart, and they come flying up to me down this county road. And both of them started to tell me the story at the same time about this guy. He broke into this house earlier. He came back. My gate was closed. He points a gun at me, forces me to open my gate. I open my gate for him. He pops off shots at us and then runs towards the houses. And then we took off. And I was like, okay, well, where is he now? And they were like, we have no idea. So, middle of, it's nighttime, and I'm on this county road in front of this residence. And as I'm gathering the information and talking to these guys, they're like right by my car. And I was like, well, let me move my car up. Let me get down the road a little bit. So I get in my car, and as I'm closing the door, like, I close the door makes contact with the door jamb, and I hear what I thought at first, and this is going to sound, typical cop. I don't know if you saw that YouTube video, but you'll know what I'm talking about if you did. I thought I heard an acorn dropping on a tin roof.
Oh, yeah.
And then I turned, and the gentlemen who were just standing right next to me were no longer standing next to me. They were running and looking for cover. And I was like, this is a clue. I don't believe that was an acorn.
Yes.
So I got in my, threw it in drive and got on the radio and, advised I had shots fired, and I was still the only one on scene. And, you just kind of go to work after that.
So you put it in drive.
Repositioned my car.
Now go ahead. You're about to tell me exactly what I was about to ask. This is blowing my mind.
I repositioned my car a little bit further down the road away from the residence. Threw it in park. Got out. Put my rifle plates on, which is like our extra vest,
Okay.
Put my rifle plates on and grab my M4 and, racked one in and started going towards the house, started going towards where the threat was, or where I thought the threat was. Because, like I said, I hadn't seen him at all to this point. I did not know where he was. No idea. But I know that I heard a shot, and these two gentlemen take off running, and I've got to protect. I've got to do something. I got to protect them. So, as I'm sitting there, shouting out commands, "Hey, sheriff's office, drop the weapon. Come out, hands up." My buddies, the other fill-ins, eventually they get there, and I couldn't tell you how much time had lapsed, but I know that one of the first on scene is a very, very good friend of mine. He's my best pal. We raise our boys together, and he was actually around whenever I was a kid. He was one of my sister's friends, so he was kind of like a big brother figure.
Yeah.
And he also trained me in phase 1 of FTO. So,
man,
and now we're literally neighbors. Like, we are at each other's houses all the time, doing everything together. Our wives work at the same hospital. Our boys are in the same, at the same school in kindergarten.
Wow.
Yeah, we're thick as thieves, man. But we were before this too. But he shows up, and everybody is, a polite way to say it is, everybody is skeptical because nobody sees a threat. But I just called out shots fired, and they're like, okay, like, is this a new guy getting scared, or is this somebody being jumpy? Like, what's the deal,
Yeah.
So, as we're not sitting there, we're kind of, I'm telling him what happened, and more guys are showing up. And as we're coming up with a plan of attack to, like, go in and clear this house, there's 2 houses on the property. One house is the homeowner's or the property owner's dad. It's a little small kind of mother-in-law cabin type thing.
Okay.
And then the big property on the house is the property owner's. Um, the lights are on in the father-in-law's house, but the father-in-law or the father uh, of the property owner is gone deer hunting. Nobody's supposed to be in his house, right?
Yeah.
As we're talking about like, hey, he could be here, he could be there, whatever. A silhouette moves across the window, and everybody sees what I see, and they're like, okay, we've got something. Like there he is. Somebody's in there. Nobody's supposed to be in there. Let's go to work. Um, somebody gets in the driver's seat of one of the squad cars there and kind of creates a little bit of a barricade and moves us up close to the house, illuminates it with the takedown lights and the spotlight. And as everybody's getting into position, um, I'm behind the car, and if I'm not the closest, I'm one of the closest to the house, and everybody's getting different spots, covering flanks and trying to get around on this guy and close him in, while maintaining, not flagging anybody or getting anybody in the line of fire or anything. Um, while we're doing that, this guy's moving constantly in the house, and one of the last deals that I one of the last deals that I remembered was there's a window unit in this window that he keeps on passing over, like passing by,
Yeah.
and um, his silhouette stops. He squares his shoulders and he takes a shooter stance. And I just hollered. I said, "He's pointing," and shots started ringing out. And the car that I was behind started getting peppered, and uh, I knew that people were moving as the shots were being fired. Like I knew that my boys were getting into position elsewhere, and I thought that he killed one of my friends,
Dang.
and I didn't really didn't really care for it. So
Mm.
so I peeked out from behind the car, and I heard my buddy John. He got on the radio and he said, his radio number, and he said shots fired at law enforcement. And I was thankful. I was a little bit more at ease, if you can ever be in that moment. Like, well, at least John's okay.
Mm.
Wherever he's at, he's safe because he's talking. And immediately my priority shifted to getting fire on that house because, I got to let him know that we're there. We're there to party, and we're not going quiet, and we're not fixing to, we're not fixing to play with you. If you're going to try to kill us, we're going to have to take care of business. So I leaned up on the side of the car and started spraying hate, and was hoping that he would peek. Was hoping that he was peeking above that window unit still, and I was just sending rounds, through that window of that house. So I squeezed off 3 and got back down to cover and got on my radio. And I said, my radio number. And I said, county shots fired by the police, which I have not lived down to this day because we're a sheriff's office and we ain't police.
Oh, okay. I get it.
Yeah.
I get it.
So not to mention that it sounded like a chicken fried steak had learned to speak English. And I went, shots fired by the police. And like, I'm pretty sure that it might have got a chuckle even in court, when the video got played eventually. But
oh yeah, that's the Tracer I know.
You bet.
Yeah.
You bet. Yeah. But right after that, naturally, just I'm not some some big tactical dude. Like I'm not really into guns or hunting or whatever. Like I bird hunt, but that's about it.
Yeah.
But I know common sense. He knows where I'm at. I need to move.
Okay.
They call it getting off the X. So I drop and I'm about to start moving, and I'm looking around and I'm hollering, "Hey, who's got cover? Like somebody cover me! I'm moving." And I don't hear anything. Somebody cover me! I'm moving. Who's got my cover? Who's got my cover? And I just break and uh, run to the nearest car that's next to me, and out of the driveway on the road, get behind it, and um, take up another defensive spot and look for the next opportunity. Uh, and this lasted, man, Jordy, it felt like it lasted all night.
Mm.
Um, Probably a couple hour ordeal.
What was the final result?
I went home, and he did not. He got shot. Uh, he did not. He did not get killed, but he did get shot and incapacitated, and the threat was eliminated.
Mm.
And at the very, very end of it, um, when he's down, by that time there's several agencies on scene, and it was just funny, man. At that time, he's no more weapon, and he's in the middle of this field, and he's screaming in pain. And one of the sergeants, one of the SWAT guys, is over there, and he says, "Hey, medic up." I don't know, dude. Can't explain it. I made my rifle safe, put it on the trunk of a car, and busted over to him,
Yeah.
and was ready to go to work. Ended up putting him on a Titan tarp with some AMR guys, and carried him out, and was fixing to load up with him in the box and start working. And I had to get told, like, "Hey, stop what you're like, come back. You're
Why?
not getting in the helicopter. Like, you need to stay here. You've been in a shooting. You need to stay here." And I was like, "Oh yeah, my fault."
Why? Why do you feel like it was hard to stop rendering aid to this guy who had every intention of taking your life and your buddies? What's going on there?
I don't know, man.
Wow. That's
Um,
that's
would
heavy.
you would you have would you have done anything different?
No. And it's something more than ourselves, I think.
Yeah, man. It's
Um,
it's it's deep,
yeah,
and it's something that's undeniable. It's just it's what I've always felt. It's just the call to serve
yeah,
and be of service.
yeah. What
No matter what. No matter what.
I can't help think of Christ
Hmm.
in moments like these, or how often we constantly, metaphorically, of course, shoot at him, and the second we're wounded, he doesn't stop to render aid. That's just the details of horrible scenes, man. He just reveals himself through. That's heavy stuff, man.
So it's funny you say that, because whenever, like, if you can believe it or not, in this particular, I'll call it what it was, in this particular gunfight, there was downtime. Um, there was a certain part where I thought that his shots, they were getting closer and they were getting quicker. and I felt like he was closing in on me. I was pinned down where I was, and I thought that I was about to be, you know, executed basically.
Mm.
And I wasn't. Of course, you don't go out without a fight, and you stay in it. But at one point, I had downtime enough to where I thought my son is 2 years old. My wife has uprooted her entire life to come out here so I could do this, so I could do this job and feel like that I'm doing what I was supposed to be doing. Finally, she's taken a new job, and she's completely blazed a new trail, which she's never done before. Uh, she's from the big city of Elysian Fields, and the biggest move that she ever did was live on campus for a semester at Panola.
Yeah.
You know, and now she's supposed to walk through the rest of this without me and be alone. Like
Mm.
so. And one of those down times and one of those down moments, I had my work phone in my vest, my work cell phone they provide us, and I reached in and I got down behind a car and I was peeking. Called her, called her, and she would not answer. And I knew that she was at my grandparents' house.
Mm.
My grandparents hardly ever answer their phone. But the other person that I knew was at my grandparents' house was my dad. And I know that my dad will answer.
Why do you know that?
Um, because I'm my father's son.
Mm. Wow.
So he and I would answer,
Mm.
you know.
Yeah.
But he answers, and I can hear Graham in the background, and he says he always answers in some goofy, he says, "Yellow." I said, "Dad." And I said, "Dad," and he goes, "Yeah." And I said, "Dad, I don't have a lot of time. I'm in a gunfight, and I need to talk to Shay." And he said, "Okay." And next thing I know, Shay's on the phone, and she says, "Hello." And I said, "Hey, I don't have a lot of time, but I just want to let you know that I'm uh, currently in a gunfight, and I'm doing my best. And um, I want you to know that I love you, and I want you to know that I don't regret a thing." And she said, "Okay." And a buddy of mine in the academy, we got pretty close, but we had made a pact with each other that if something happens to me, I don't want my family to have to worry about my funeral arrangements. I don't want them to have to worry about buried or cremated or you know box or vase or whatever. The stupid stuff that you have to deal with when you're going through a funeral.
Yeah.
Um, what kind of music would he want? Who's his pallbearers? Who's the whatever. Well, the sheriff's office has my plans, right? But before I got off the phone with her, um, I said, if anything happens, if I don't come home, talk to Kaufman. And she said, uh, well, you better come home. And I said, yeah, doing my best. And she said, well, do you want to talk to Graham? And I said, yeah, talk to him. And he's two.
Mm.
What are you gonna do? And he says, hi, Dada.
Huh.
Yeah. And I said, hi, Bubba. I said, "Are you playing?" And he said, "Yeah." And I said, "Well, can you roar like a dinosaur for me? Can you roar? Because that's it's one of our things when he was little. He's really into dinosaurs, like every little boy is." And I said, "Can you roar like a dinosaur?" And then there was silence. And Shay said he took off. And I said, "Well, let him play."
Yeah.
I said, "I love you. I gotta go." She said, "I love you too. Hang on." And she handed the phone back to my dad. So,
Mm.
you know, how do you, how do you say, just from his perspective, as a father, like knowing and being like self aware of like mistakes and stuff that you should have done different or stuff that you messed up, or, the woes of life, basic, how do you fix it in 10 seconds?
Yeah.
Or how do you say something to somebody that is, you know, and I just, uh, and he got on the phone and he said, "Bubba," and I said, "Dad, I love you, man." And a little bit more silence. And he said, "I love you too."
Mm. Wow.
And then I had to get off and go back to work. But yeah, man,
Mm.
right quick after that, I'm I'm pinned down behind another car, but now I'm with a buddy of mine who was on the SWAT team who got there. And the engine block is the hardest part of a car,
Yeah.
but it also had a floodlight that was right on the hood of it.
Yeah.
It was on, and I was kind of peeking over that floodlight, which is bad. But uh, his name's Jonathan Beasley. He's a good man too. But I'll deny it. I'll deny that I said it, just because that's our nature. That's our friendship.
That's
But
right.
I said, he said, "Tracer, you gotta get down, man." He said, if he sees you, he can't see you. He's gonna shoot at that light if he shoots again." And I said, "Well, this the engine block. It's hard, good cover." And have you seen? Of course, you've seen "Oh Brother, Where Art Thou?"
Yeah.
Okay, so I said, "Well, this is the engine block," and he goes, "Damn," and I went, "Damn, we're in a tight spot."
Yep.
And we just both started busting out like laughing,
Mm.
you know, just like kids playing war,
Yeah.
just freaking hide and seek, man.
Mm.
And it's just
Man, I'd
it
like to.
feels surreal, but it's like just these flashes of reality. And like the moment of clarity that I had to call my wife
Mm.
and tell her goodbye,
Yeah.
if that's what that meant.
Yeah.
Um,
How many fathers get to do that? How many husbands get to do that in those moments?
I don't know, man, but I felt like it was important to, you know, if I have to leave, um, I want you to know that I did my best,
Yeah.
and I want you to know that I don't regret a thing. Like, wouldn't change it.
Oh, that's heavy. Let's take another break.
Yeah, you bet.
And we'll come back and kind of look at what life looks like after coming home after something like that. And
Sure.
yeah. All right, buddy.
Let's do it, man.
So what was how did Shay react when you got home after that eventful night? Because you're still a cop. Like she still let you do the job. If it was my wife, she'd be like, "You're done. You're going to be a plumber. You're never going to do that again. I'm going to keep you under my arm for the rest of your life."
So that's something I'll say for her. She never shied from it.
Wow.
Never. Not once did she balk at it.
Do you think it has to do with her medical background? Like she's been exposed to stuff like that, or what do you think?
So not so much. She is at Marshall. She was a IMC nurse.
Yeah.
And she floated occasionally. Like she would go pick up shifts and like she did a couple in the ER and not her speed. Like she just doesn't. Not for her. It's not for everybody. But whereas if I was a floor nurse, I would beat my head against a wall constantly and be like, "What am I doing? Like, why am I doing?" But anyway, it was more. She knew how much this meant to me.
Yeah.
And she knew how well, like she realized how well it fit where I was currently at and the men that I was working with. Speaking of that night, I told you my sergeant, Clint Landreth. I'm gonna name drop him, and he hates when I tell people this, but he was on vacation, but he was at his house. He takes time off for deer season.
Oh yeah.
So he's at his house. He gets a phone call from somebody. They're like, "Hey, are you okay?" I'm like, "What are you talking about?" And they tell him what happened and what's going on, like actively going on. And he suited up and came to the scene and didn't just come to the scene for moral support. Uh, in a literal blaze of gunfire, ran through barricades and found me behind a car.
No joke.
No joke. And grabbed me like by my vest and looked at me in the eyes and said, "How you doing, Cupcake?" And for a man to do that, never question you again.
Yeah.
Have you seen the pictures of me going deep sea fishing?
Yeah.
Saltwater fishing. So the first time we went, it was in like a 19-foot flat bottom John boat, and we were like several miles out, tied off to a rig fishing. He was piloting the boat. He was the captain. It's his boat.
Yeah.
I didn't realize how dumb that was.
Yeah.
Because of how much trust that I have in him. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like,
yeah.
So like, I know that he's not going to do anything to get if anything happens, I can trust him, and I know that because he's shown me.
Yeah.
So, but when I came home that night, my car got taken as evidence by the Texas Rangers, which was my first run in with them, and literally my childhood heroes.
Yeah.
The whole reason I wanted to be a cop was because of Lonesome Dove.
Yeah.
Was because, it's the first time I saw Texas Rangers, and I was like, that's cool.
That's
like,
cool.
And that's what I want to do,
Yeah,
So,
for sure.
When I got home, I had to get a ride home from John. John took me to my house. We lived in South Greenville at the time, a little rent house. And I came inside and showered and sat on the couch with her and didn't really say a whole lot. And she was just glad I was home. And we just sat and talked for a little while, like it was Saturday morning.
Wow.
And eventually Graham got up and woke up, realized Mom wasn't around, and stumbles into the living room and crawls up into my lap. And we watched Monsters University.
That's a good movie.
And then I was struggling, Jordy, with the fact that I was okay.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I thought something was wrong with me because I was fine. Like I felt fine. Like, and not necessarily, people weren't like necessarily walking around eggshells on me because I wasn't the only one that fired a shot that night. Like we had two other guys, both on our SWAT team, that also fired shots. That, you know, it's kind of a crapshoot when it comes to which one of us hit him. But we don't really dwell on it a whole lot. Like it's just the threat got neutralized. What it is, what it is. But for me in particular, because of how new I was, and I pretty much wear my emotions on my sleeve, and you know, you don't have to guess how I'm feeling because you can see it if I don't tell you.
Yeah.
But I felt like some folks were kind of walking on eggshells around me and kind of being real timid.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, what is wrong with me to where I don't have a reaction to this?
Mm-hmm.
And I ended up calling a good buddy of mine who I had been to school with since pre-K. And he's a infantry veteran, just, in the Army. And he did a couple tours and did some stuff. And I called him and I said, hey, man, here's what happened. And I told him everything. And he goes, okay, you good? And I said, yeah, but that's the problem. It's like, I'm good. And he goes, why is that a problem? And I said, because everybody expects me not to be. And he said, I'll never forget it. He said, Tracer, do you realize how simple that is? If you're not broke, don't fix it.
Mm-hmm.
And also, if you are like the biggest thing you have to worry about now is not solving your problems with such violent intensity from here on out. He said, because how easy was that to simply pull a trigger and not die? He said, no conversations, no rigmarole, basically. No meetings about the meetings, whatever, no bureaucracy, nothing. It is me, you, it's primal. And we've been doing it since the beginning of time.
That's right. Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, I guess that's a good point, dude. And he goes, yeah, he said, if one day, if you're not good, cross that bridge when you get to it, man. And boy, did I cross it.
Yeah.
How
long did it take?
I would say maybe 9 months to a year. It didn't feel like after I got home, I felt like I didn't sleep for 4 or 5 days, because obviously I was immediately on administrative leave and just really struggled to come down from what had happened.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't think that would ever happen, but I never thought I'd have a problem falling asleep. Just been running ragged, doing Marshall transfers all the time, and never thought I'd have trouble sleeping. And then when I started, it came. It was violent.
Yeah.
So it was intense, man. But it wasn't just that. Like it was other calls, like from the box. Like I had a really bad burn victim from from Will's Point, and it was really my first taste of kind of stress disorder. Was I had this burn victim who, for some reason, mother of 3, threw a cup of gasoline on a flame and it just engulfed her. And I had to physically pull her family, her kids, off of her and tell them, like, we have to go. Like, there's a helicopter coming. Like, we've got to go. 2 large bore IVs, some fluids, and look at that airway and see if we need to tube you and diesel bolus and let's haul, let's go. And on my way home on I-20 that next morning, because that was on the back half of a 48-hour shift, I did the first part of it. I did in Grand Saline, where I darted my first chest.
Nice.
I did my first needle decompression, and it was a big shift, man. It was just a big undertaking, and I got to thinking about her on my way home, and I was like, well, I knew she got flown to Parkland. She's in the burn center, and I called up there, and I had her name, date of birth, which the last time I ever did that, and because I thought she was doing fine. And when I gave him the name and date of birth, she's a real sweet woman over into the phone. And she said, she's not here, baby. And I said, well, no, ma'am, she's there. Like, she got flown there. Like, she's there. Her name is this, and she was a burn victim from this, whatever. And she just kind of real understandingly, she was like, no, baby, she's not here. And I was like, oh, well, thanks for your time. Appreciate it. And I went home, and Graham was real young, and I was with him in the floor, fixing to sit on the chair with him early in the morning, fixing to have breakfast. And then all of a sudden, this rush of, the smell of burnt flesh, you never forget. And boy, it hit me, and it knocked me down. I was lucky I was sitting down, or going to sit down, and I just went white, lost all my color. I didn't realize what was happening until Shay was like, hey, are you okay? And I was like, no, I don't think I am. And that's kind of when my therapy journey started. But then whenever this last, when the shooting happened, it rattled my cage. It took a while, but it rattled my cage, and it woke up some giants. And I was like, man, this is not feasible long term. I got to do something about this. So that's when I kind of started going back to therapy, and I found somebody.
Yeah. Praise the Lord, you did.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely, man.
So what's life like today for Tracer? What does it look like? I see you're off on Sundays now.
Yes, sir.
You have a family church?
Yes, sir. We go to Higher Trails, which was formerly, they don't call it a cowboy church anymore.
Okay.
But it's started out as a cowboy church, and it's, right here in Celeste, Merritt area where we live. It's 5 minutes from our house.
Yeah.
And since I've been in the SRO position, like since I've been in this spot, which it was real hard to leave patrol. That was a whole nother deal, whole nother battle. I'd applied for some other positions, and I really wanted to be an investigator, and I still do, but nothing was panning out. And I was really I was also getting into some more stuff. Like I felt like I was under a microscope for a little while,
Yeah.
Felt like I was under a kind of a close eye a little bit. But made the decision to made the realization that I was getting a little bit sidetracked as to why I'm doing what I'm doing. And, I'm here to serve. And there's a reason that I don't work or apply for a big agency, like, to go and chase a dollar. Because I don't have any skin in the game there,
Yeah.
Like, this is my home, and this is where I live. This is where I'm raising my family. and this is where I spend all my time. And I've coached. This is my third year or third season to coach. Baseball, little league, and they'll make fun of me, but I know you're going to because it's typical. Uh, I just started volunteering at the fire department in town.
Oh, hold
And,
on. Hold
yeah,
on. We're not gonna skip over that.
yeah.
Oh
So,
man. Hey,
but I did make the decision. I did tell them,
cop seat
like
heroes too, buddy.
the last meeting that we had, they were like, "Hey, do you need some bunker gear?" And I said, "Not on your life. No,
Yeah.
I don't need that. Just give me a medical bag so I can go to these calls and help my neighbors.
Yeah.
Like that's all that's important to me is serving people that you live around and raise your kids with. And
Mm-hmm.
that's always been a real big part of me is just service to others. And I found it in the church whenever I was younger,
Yeah.
like with the mission trips and everything. And
Mm-hmm.
one of my biggest mentors in that church was uh I called him PJ, but he was a city of Rockwall cop.
Okay.
And it was just kind of like, this guy is a joy to be around. He is stable. He's a man of God. And I realize those things are out of order, but like that's what I was seeing at the time, was like he's in church. He's got his family. He's emotionally sound, it seems like. And
Yeah.
he is serving. And he is serving the community, and he's doing what I want to do. And I was like, I want to be like him.
Yeah.
And it means a lot that I'm finally able to say that I'm still trying, but but when I finally got this SRO spot that just came up happenstance, like, hey, we need some volunteers for this spot, and nobody budged. And I I thought, here am I, send me. And
Man. And that's serving more than just your community. I know your family is reaping the benefits of that too.
yep.
Dude, what a selfless testimony this is. Like everything I've told, like you've been talking to, has been for laying one's life down for his friends in every sense of the word, not just backing a buddy up in a gunfight.
Yeah, man. So my favorite verse, and I found it in Booneville, Arkansas, on a mission trip with my youth group. It was single-handedly, other than the obvious things, it was the most significant time in my life, and it could not have come at a better time. It was just when everything was falling apart that I was finding, you know, I was finally hearing what I thought, God was. And I was finally finding the purpose and finally fitting it, like not fitting in, but like I found my groove, and I was like, oh, helping and serving.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's what I love to do.
It's
Like
a spiritual gift.
so, and I mean, that goes deeper than just acts of service. If I can make somebody smile or make somebody laugh or, whatever, it's everything.
Mm-hmm.
But my favorite verse is from the story of Zacchaeus.
Yeah. Okay.
And it really got me fired up just about, while I was there. And it's Luke 19:10.
Mm-hmm.
It's for the Son of Man came to seek and save the lost. And, I saw it on a poster board and looked it up and looked at it. And we were there serving, volunteering homeless shelters and Boys and girls clubs and,
Mhm.
renovating, doing Habitat for Humanity work, building, redoing houses and, stuff like that. And I latched onto that verse and I said, guys, what are we doing here?
Mhm.
This little church in nowhere, Texas. We're up here with 3 other churches from across the country.
Right.
And what are we here doing? Like, for the Son of Man came to seek and save the lost, And it was just so black and white to me. And it'll never that moment of clarity will never ever ever leave me. And
Yeah.
I think about it still, as I'm where I'm at serving the school and serving these kids and trying to pour into them and that's a thin line between you know what you're legally allowed to do these days in a school.
Yeah, correct.
But even though that I was not in a church whenever Graham was born, I made the decision whenever Shay was pregnant to because I was lost.
Yeah.
And I made the decision that if I love my son the way that Christ loves us, you know, like I don't know, I didn't know at the time if I was ever going to get him in the church. I didn't know if I was ever going to get back into walking the walk. But I figured that the least I could do was to um, to not make it be so foreign to him the concept of unconditional love.
Mm.
So I told myself, serve others and be selfless and love that boy like Christ loves you. And so that way, whenever he's, you know, getting into a youth group or finding his way, if he ever does, if I don't lead him there like I'm supposed to, um, that he'll say, "Oh, I get it because this is how my dad loves me."
Yeah.
You know,
What a
because
beautiful
I
thing.
struggled with being worthy.
Yeah.
Like with my own dad.
Yeah.
Because that after that big mission trip, whenever I came home, my dad was for some reason my dad had thought that me going to church and playing music there and getting more involved, he thought that meant that I thought that I was better than him.
Mm.
And he took that as an insult and a threat. And, you know, he was frustrated with himself for several reasons. But that night, specifically that night, I had just gotten back from this mission trip and I was overflowing with this fire, with this love and this understanding. And he told me, he said, get in the truck. And I said, okay. And I'm 16, 17,
Mm.
get in the truck and I think we're going to work. And he locks up the brakes in the middle of this county road, middle of the night. And he just starts hitting me. And I roll out, the side of the truck and he pulls me up by my collar. It's like in the headlights to where I can see him. And I can smell the snuff in his mouth, like close, close. And he grabs me and he says, uh, why are you doing this? Don't you understand that there is no God?
Hmm.
He said, don't you understand that if there was a God, you wouldn't be here? that I wouldn't be here, that we wouldn't be going through this. Because like I said, it was just me and my dad, Mom had left. All my sisters were gone. They didn't want anything to do with him because of his previous ways. And my mom was no angel. Jordy, I hadn't talked to my mom in years. She never really wanted anything to do with me, which at the time, I did not blame her because I didn't want anything to do with me. Right?
Yeah.
But that was the first time. And my dad and I have talked about that since, because he's now in church and he's now baptized and trying to do better and walking the walk, and couldn't be more happy for the guy. But that was the first time that I've ever defended my faith in the eyes of something like that, and especially with this figure that's everything to me,
Yeah.
And I looked at him and I said, he does exist. So there's no way that he doesn't exist. And he said, how do you figure that? And he kind of loosened his grip on me. And I said, because even now, Dad, I still love you. Like, I still have love for you, and I still want you to be a part of my life, and you loom so large in me that I want what I have. I want that for you. And like, you can't tell me there's a God. You can't tell me there's no God if I feel that way after having been involved in church and after having been learning about forgiveness and learning about this blank check of just forgiveness and love and just pure light.
Yeah.
After being in the dark for so long,
Yeah.
I said, there's no way there's not a God, because if there wasn't, Dad, I wouldn't love you as much as I do. Like I wouldn't feel a thing for you.
Wow.
And that was a really significant time. And like I said, we've talked about it since, and he's regretful. He is regretful, and he's apologized umpteenth million times. He's apologized.
Yeah.
But it's reminds me of David, in the 41. It's God's promise.
Yeah.
If nothing might make sense for 40 days or for however long your 40 is, or for whatever happens. I didn't understand why I wasn't getting the promotion that I wanted to get. And I didn't understand why I was getting so cynical in my job and why I was feeling like I wasn't accomplishing anything. Why I was getting these continuous, the scrutiny for what I felt like was just doing my job. And then I felt like I was quitting with taking this SRO spot.
Yeah.
I thought I needed some service. I needed to get back into serving people and feeling like I'm serving people and providing some safety for some, advocacy for some people who can't do it themselves. Who's more vulnerable than kids?
I mean,
But
that's
at the
so
same
true.
time, I felt like I was quitting, man. I felt like I was quitting and walking away from it and giving up on it. And then lo and behold, my schedule changes and I can get back into the church, and I haven't I've missed one Sunday, and it was because I was duck hunting in
Oh yeah.
West Texas. I was duck hunting, and that's the Sunday that I've missed. And my boy is in church on Sundays.
Wow. What a testament. That's if I only knew you by your life as a kid, I would have never imagined this version of yourself that you have now.
Yeah,
It just seems like obstacle after obstacle, and you just show up, you trust the Lord, you serve others. You know,
man, I had some really good, examples. You know,
yeah.
in high school, my coaches, I had Coach Siemens, he was a man of God, leader, FCA,
Oh yeah.
big figure in my life. Uh, our preachers, our youth pastor, Dana Kent, and her husband, Eddie, PJ, who I've already talked to, Kinsey Abbott. Well, her maiden name's Abbott. It's Kinsey Miller now. Um, Kinsey Garcia, the Garcia family, the Ramers. I mean, these people that just you surround yourself with the good, and you choose to be better or choose to try to be better. And nobody's self-made. It's all up to you.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure, man. Dude, I saw you you put a prayer at the end of your testimony, and I typically try to close out in prayer myself. But dude, it took a hold of me, and I would really love nothing more for you to say that prayer.
Sure.
To to really close this thing out.
Absolutely, man. Father God, I come to you and I ask that my words and stories find someone who needs them. Let them know that they're not alone. Excuse me. Give them the confidence they don't have. And don't let them believe that they're truly bearing their struggle alone. And they're never too far gone. Amen.
Amen. That's so, man, dude. I'm at a loss for words, buddy.
I'll be honest, man. I don't know how this is going to hit. I've told a lot of stories, and I've chewed a lot of cud, but I've never done anything like this before. So this is going to be news to a whole bunch of folks.
Yeah, man, and
that are real, real close to me.
Well, it took a boldness, because you talk about things that aren't easy to talk about, to be honest. But if this just, I try to really spend time with the Lord, and just if somebody's story can just help one person, then anything I've ever done or tried to do is worth it. And you talking about your struggles and your faith and your reliance on Christ and serving others is going to do the exact same for somebody. We may never know, the fruit of this.
Right.
It's a step in obedience. It's
A wise man plants the seeds of a tree.
Yeah. But
whose
who does the
shade he'll
water?
never sit under.
That's it, man. That's it. Yeah. Well,
Dude, I really appreciate you letting me do this with you, man. This means more than you'll ever know.
Well, I love you. You've always held a special place in my heart. You came through Marshall quickly, and I don't understand how we still talk about you today, but dude, you're contagious, and I love it for your son. I love it for your wife, and any of those around you. They're gonna feel that contagiousness. And man, thank you for coming on.
Anytime, brother. I love you, man.
I love you too, dude. You take care of yourself and we'll talk soon.